Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. Today is Thursday morning, April 29th, 2021. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to talk about Amazon stock. Is Amazon stock a good buy right now? What levels makes Amazon stock a good buy? And I got to tell you, the stock has been sideways for the better part of 9 months, and it's right at that level where it starts to get interesting. So we're going to look at Amazon. We're going to look at the big tech stocks that have reported earnings recently. We're going to do a recap on what we called out 2 days ago, which is we started to see bullish order flow in energy stocks before they popped. And those stocks have really been good. Hess actually had great earnings yesterday, actually had a nice breakout. Big story by General Motors yesterday as well. And we're going to dive into which stocks that would affect. So stick around. We're actually going to be right back. Okay, so we're going to actually jump right into it. We're going to do a stock market recap and what we expect today. Obviously, President Biden spoke last night. Again, just no politics here. It was perceived well. And how do I know that? Well, the futures are up. I'm not, again, it's charts don't lie. Data doesn't lie. If it was perceived any other way, we would have been rolling over right now. And the futures, the S&P futures actually, as of this recording, is up 25 points. So we're just going with the data. We're not getting political. So that is, quote unquote, good news for the market right now. What's interesting is Microsoft seems to be the only one that's not enjoying this rally right now. But we're going to get into Amazon right now. So let's actually jump right over to the charts, and we're going to discuss a couple of different things in Amazon. So the big news on Amazon is twofold. Right now is Amazon topping 3,500 pre-market. Now, I'm going to show you the level on the chart in a second, and it's the 3,500 number is nice round number, but that's not the real number that Amazon needs to stay above. Amazon stock needs to stay above 3,400, and I'll show you why. But I think the big news is this. The rumored stock split this week that was tweeted by Charles Gasparino a couple of days ago, and this had everybody pretty darn excited because Amazon at $3,000, a lot of traders can't even afford to trade it. And now it's actually getting into the point where if it does split like Tesla and Apple did last year, it will open it up to a very wide, a wider group of traders. And of course, it depends on how it splits, what it splits to. But here's a quick lesson on day trading versus swing trading. Day traders, a lot of day traders make the majority of their money on the same stocks day after day after day. And they're usually market leading stocks, stuff like Apple, Tesla. This is a little expensive for the normal day trader. Goldman Sachs, that kind of thing. If this splits, this will hopefully bring it down to a level where more active participants could get involved, and that volatility and liquidity is just awesome. By the way, stick around. We got a really, really big lesson on trading BTX today. It's a stock that was up 600% in 5 days. We're going to talk about why that trade wasn't for everybody. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but we're going to get back into Amazon and the stock split. This is a big deal, okay? Now, what's important is that the big deal came from a tweet. Until we hear otherwise, it doesn't make a difference. And that, again, talking about data versus talking about what we hear. What we hear sometimes, where there's smoke, there's fire, but this is a tweet. So let's not get excited about it until it happens. Now, as far as Amazon's earnings, the big thing that we want to talk about is very similar to what happened with Microsoft. And I'm just going to come back to the screen here just for a second. What happened with Microsoft was everything was good, but a lot of it was built into pandemic-related stuff with Team and everything like that. And again, remember, where it is now is what you already paid for. What you're buying today is where it's going. And that's the big thing with Amazon right now. If we are starting to peek our head on the other side of the pandemic, will Amazon stock benefit from getting to the other side, or will Amazon stock collapse because the expectation and the revenue numbers that were hit, were they solely because of the pandemic? And look, Disney actually had great earnings, blew out the subscriber numbers, and the stock's been down since those subscriber numbers. It hit gapped wildly into new all-time highs. Let me actually just show you that chart really quickly just to give you some context of what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm talking about in Disney. Now, collapse does, I guess, is a relative word, but this announcement right here, the stock just absolutely looked like it was on fire that day. It looked like it couldn't do anything wrong. And since that announcement, it's down. So we're looking at a lot of these stocks that are being affected by pandemic-related stock prices. Zoom, probably one of the best examples, right? Where it's kind of come back to normal, which is okay. Still 300, I think $300 stock. Pretty sure, right? Somewhere in that range, 331. So what does that mean for Amazon? So what does that mean for Amazon is we are watching Amazon, and you can see here how I've drawn the chart and how I've worked the chart. It's been stuck in this range for almost a year. And now we're banging our head. We've had a really good rally into earnings, but now we're sitting right at this key $3,400 level, which I've been watching since last year. So in my opinion, the way I'm trading this stock right now, I know it's at 3,500 right now, which sounds exciting. You can see down here in the corner. That round number doesn't mean anything to me. What matters to me is it got up here and failed, got up here and failed, got up here and failed. And now that the world seems to be getting back to normal, will Amazon stock stay at this level? Is it a buy at this level? I am not going to be involved unless it stays above 3,400. I don't have a head start on the trade, so I'm actually going to let the trade play itself out after earnings today and then hop on board. I am not looking to get involved because same thing that happened with Microsoft. And Microsoft might bounce back today, but why sit through this? Let the dust settle. Let it prove it can stay above a level that it, that it hasn't been able to get above, and then we'll hop on board. So Amazon stock above 3,400, and you can see it. I'm not. That's not my opinion. That is a fact. That is a fact that the stock has been stuck here, and now you have the other factors on back. Now, the one thing that's interesting, the SIP is what they're calling it. Oh my God, my voice is going. Which is the Amazon delivery of food and that kind of thing. What they're looking to do is maintain that subscriber base, maintain that customer base. Now that the world is starting to get back to normal, obviously everybody's ordering everything you can think of from Amazon, but the food delivery is what they're relying on right now. So when you listen to the earnings after the market bells, when they're scheduled today, pay attention to that number. We actually do have a really big list of pretty big stocks that are reporting today. McDonald's. So we're going to go through other stocks that are reporting today. McDonald's actually reporting again, finally got above that 230 level, which is the level we've been watching for. Royal Caribbean, which is interesting. We've actually noticed that they've actually been holding the bid, where we pushed up and paused, and a lot of these cruise lines, and especially Norwegian, have not been selling off. They've actually been holding the bid. So kind of get up there, pause, and they need to be in your watch list. And we need to get out of this range. NCLH needs to get above 32. MasterCard coming out this week. Really good follow through. We're actually going to discover in 2 minutes, we're going to talk about credit services and blue chip stocks that have had relative strength that we're going to take a look at this week. Caterpillar, which seems like we haven't talked about Caterpillar in ages, and you can see why. It's been consolidating. Now, the big thing which I taught yesterday is if you look for accumulation or distribution in these stocks to get clues, you would look for a push and then a longer term consolidation. And we want to see if volume gets heavier, and volume is actually trading below what it normally does. So money is not changing hands there, which is a bullish sign for the stock. We'll see what happens when it comes out, but those are bullish clues. After the market, obviously, we talked about Amazon, but a couple of days ago, we spotted accumulation in NEO, which is the opposite of what we just looked at. It went down, went sideways, churned on heavier volume, and the stock bounced, hit key resistance yesterday, and now earnings are coming out, scheduled to come out after the close today. I'm really excited about this stock. If it can finally get above the 42, 43 level, it's got room easily to go to the 52, maybe even the 60 level, which is where we were looking to buy it before it rolled over. Twitter after the close. Twitter was a house on fire about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months, January through middle of January through the end of February. I was trading it pretty actively. And now you can see the stock is just kind of consolidated. I'm looking for a nice earnings bounce after the market closes today, and then looking to trade it for about a month or so. And I just want to talk about sector rotation and trading stocks. One of the biggest challenges for a lot of traders, and really all traders right now, has been that generally speaking, sectors rotate and money flows into one, money flows into another one. And as an active trader, it's not really necessary sometimes to be finding new stocks every day. You can actually get in and be like, I'm going to trade this sector because it's obvious, and you can get like 2, 3, sometimes quarter to quarter really good trading ideas because the bias remains the same heading right into the next earnings report. We haven't had that. We've been joking around in our boot camp that it's basically been sector rotation by the hour, which has made us really drop down to lower time frames, even for swing trades. We're just looking for a couple of days. But here's the lesson. The lesson is that if you want to really up your game, try and stay on top of sectors, try and stay on top of industry groups, which actually it's going to take us right now into some news about General Motors, which we're actually going to get over here, and the stocks that it affected. So GM launched new partnerships yesterday, which was a really big deal. I just want to give you some of the stocks that it affected in a big way for you to keep an eye on today. CHPT, actually, and again, we'll just give you an idea what it looked like yesterday. This is when the news came out yesterday, and BLNK. So these are a little bit shorter term trades. You can see how the stocks reacted yesterday. You don't see that on the daily chart as much, but those are stocks that we're going to take a look at. So if you want to read this article, it's on electric.com, TREK there. And GM stock obviously had some good bounce as well, but take a look at the ones that it affects the most. Those are the ones you want to be diving into. Getting into some other trades, obviously we're going to be looking at Apple. After yesterday's earnings, it's actually up almost 3% right now. What's funny, I guess funny, not funny, is we actually have had 138. We've been talking about 138 for Apple stock price, and that's kind of like right where it's stuck again. So it's actually giving us a really good opportunity as long as it's above 138. So very similar with Amazon stock needs to stay above 3,400. Apple stock is a buy to me as long as it stays above 138. Facebook stock reacted very well yesterday. It's up 7%, up in the 328 area. Now, because Facebook is actually opening up significantly higher, if you're a day trader, a day trading strategy for Facebook today, if it opened here and it's way up here off the charts, now you have to switch to a little bit of a shorter time frame. So if you're looking to day trade Facebook today, what we technically be looking to do is waiting for the opening window to play itself out, let all that noise play itself out, find today's order flow, and then look for that. And you could be trading a hourly opening candlestick breakout. You could be looking for what everybody really knows as the opening range breakout. But let it settle in first. Let's see if we hold that bid today. Again, hold the bid means push up and go sideways. And those are going to be the levels that we'll trade around in Facebook today. Also talking about some relative strength stocks. We did some research on relative strength over the last week. And you can see Google after earnings, actually Alphabet technically, Facebook and Apple we just covered. Now I want to talk about BTX. I promised to do a lesson on BTX today, which if you haven't been watching the stock pretty much went from nowhere to a news story. We're not going to get into the news story. It's more about trading the price action. And this is whether or not a new trader should be trading a stock like this. It sounds exciting. You watch it on the news, but the stock trades very thin, which means that there's not a lot of shares between the bid and the ask, and the spread on the bid and the ask is wide. This actually had a 50-cent spread. So if you can imagine, it was trading at $25 and $25.50 was the next level. There's a very big window between this. So if you mark it into the stock because you think it's going up, what's very important to realize is you're going to be down 50 cents like that as soon as you place the order. And then if you have to get out of the trade, out of market order, you're going to lose 50 cents getting out of the market order. So this is a stock that it sounds exciting. It looks great, fast moving. And if you feel like a new trader, you want to get in there, I'm just going to tell you straight up, it's not a stock that I would be teaching my nephew to trade if he was trying to learn how to trade stocks. I'd want him to trade liquid stocks that he has a good chance of getting out where he wants to, and it moves orderly, including obviously having an opportunity. This is a stock that was amazing. It was up 600% in 5 days, not a rookie trader stock. If you want to last in this business, the number one asset you need to protect is your mental well-being. And I'm going to give you an idea of what I mean by that. We were actually watching the tape yesterday, and I called it out in our community. I said, sellers are starting to step into the stock. A few of the new members in the community were getting involved, some experienced members, and I purposely called it out so the newer members of the community wouldn't get, let's just call it slapped when this thing finally reverses, because it did have some good order flow during the day. And again, here's the opening range breakout. It was traveling, but you needed a very wide stop loss. You needed to be fast on the keys to make decisions. It's exciting. It looks great. But then all of a sudden, the stock pulls back $12. And a lot of people are only looking at one side of the street, meaning it's going up, I got to get involved. It's going up, I got to get involved. Day traders need a strategy to handle that, and you need to be able to make quick decisions. So if you happen to be a new day trader right now, make sure that you're looking at the liquidity of the stock, what it trades on an average daily basis, the bids and offers, and how far that spread is. And that's going to help you decide if it's the right stock for you at this point in your day trading career. Okay, so we're going to hop on over to a couple of other stocks. Again, as I mentioned 2 days ago, we called out the energy stocks. And we're going to give you a list of stocks to keep an eye on over there. Hess had blowout earnings yesterday, broke out. We need to see this stay above 75 right now. FANG, another one. I'm going to give you some stocks. You can see the daily order flow is starting to increase. CPE, which is one of my favorite stocks to be day trading right now, and EOG. We want to work our way over to credit services, and then we're going to take a look at one other stock, which is at the top of my list today. Two stocks, actually. So we're going to look at American Express. We said 2 days ago, earnings opened lower, pushed back up, got to that 150 level, and American Express right now kind of opening flat, but we took the trade yesterday on that pause. Discover Financial, so I'm giving you some ideas. Discover Financial might be a little bit overbought right now, probably a better day trade. We talked about that yesterday. A bullish Echo trading that stock today. COF, again, optimal entry into bullish gap. And Ally is going to be the last one I'm going to take a look at over there. So you can see starting to drift higher and some good order flow. Two of my trades I want to talk about today, Snap, which had earnings, did not really perform that well. But as we've been talking about, usually a couple of days later, they start to wake up a little bit after the data is crunched and determine whether or not it's a great price or not. I still have my alert set for Snap at 64. That's why I'd recommend that everybody take a look at it, set the alert, and then look for an entry. But I think one of the top trades that I'm going to be looking at today is BILI, a stock I haven't traded since way back over here. You can see the order flow has been good for 3 to 5 days. It's paused. It has room to go. And I like this one today. It's got roughly $20 to the upside. So there's a lot to take a look at today. Going to be another pretty exciting day because we're actually following up a good day with good news. Now, whether or not that sell the news remains to be seen, but stick to those levels. Amazon has that $3,400 level. Apple has the $138 level. Those are the levels I'm going to be trading those stocks around today. So if you find this video helpful, please do me a favor, click down, subscribe. You'll get updates. Make sure you click that little alert. And especially if you find this type of content, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. That'll tell me what kind of more of the same stuff so I can help serve you even better. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Have an awesome afternoon.